Today's episode of the BS Podcast, the first one of 2017, brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, the only fan-friendly app for buying and selling tickets for sports and music. Drop your old ticket app. Use one built for 2017 and beyond. You can even do absolutely everything on your phone. Download the free SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com. We're also brought to you by Channel 33. That's the Ringer's pop culture podcast that just launched our new show, the Sports Movie Hall of Fame. I am the host along with Chris Ryan. We inducted Jerry Maguire and Moneyball already. We have another one coming this week. Subscribe to Channel 33 right now to hear every episode. Sal, what Sports Movie Hall of Fame show do you want to do with us?
Oh, you name it.
What's your favorite one, though? Or what's one you just have a lot of thoughts on? Oh, Vision Quest.
Is that a love story or is that a sports movie? I'm not sure. I mean, it's both, but...
No, it's a sports movie.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. We'll do Vision Quest.
Right.
Check out theringer.com, not just for all of our great content, but because I have a new column coming this week, later in the week. All right. This is it. The playoff round one podcast. Here we go. I'm here with a traumatized cousin Sal.
Never been this bad.
I don't know what was a worse idea. Me naming my show Any Given Wednesday.
Stop
and
there.
being unable to move the show off of Wednesday if maybe it wasn't the right day.
Yeah.
Or you naming your thing the Cousin Sal Sure Thing and leaving yourself no leeway in case it turned out not to be a sure thing one of these weeks. You're doing this on Facebook. You're in an 0-6 slump.
Well, Wednesday's a definite day of the year. A sure thing could mean, you know, just fade me. That's a sure thing.
Oh, no, so do you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so now you go the other way.
Yeah.
You can get this back.
Oh, I've been awful. I don't know what it is.
I would compare this to a boxer, maybe a little like Rousey.
Oh, yeah?
After the first fight, when Rousey lost her way, but then didn't get it back. I think you can get it back.
Rousey, what do you mean? She's got it back?
No, she didn't get it back. I think you can get it back.
Oh, I can get it back. Okay.
Rousey lost. She disappeared for a year.
Yeah.
And then came back and fought somebody who had a similar style to the person who knocked her out the exact same way and got pounded even worse. I think you can adjust.
All right.
I think you had a couple of missteps, one of which was you put the Raiders in a tease.
Yeah.
You put a bad quarterback in a tease, which
you don't like
that just told me that you just lost your fundamentals a little bit.
Really? I thought getting a touchdown against Denver could be a close game, but Denver doesn't score that much usually.
You didn't think that was one of those, if they're down 10-0, the game's over, though?
Yeah, I thought that almost immediately after I saw a couple minutes of the game, but
you can get it back.
That was bad.
It's a confidence shake. What you need to do is what Aaron Rodgers did.
Just run the table?
Aaron Rodgers was like, I don't like, my team doesn't seem confident right now. I'm going to say we're going to run the table. And then he told Peter King, now who knows if this was bullshit or not, but he's like, I thought our team needed some swagger. So I threw that out there, and if it didn't happen, it was on me.
Interesting.
I think you need to throw it out there that you're going to go 10-1 in the playoffs.
I'm going to contact Peter King and get this done right
You should call Peter King and tell him you're guaranteeing 10-1. The problem is these round one playoff games are terrible, which we're going to get to. But
should we talk about Rousey? Just as long as you were to go from bad to good, we did win that.
We had our Lions bet, which we've discussed many times on this podcast, that they would not make the playoffs along with the Browns and Niners, who won a combined 3 games. Somehow the Lions did make the playoffs, winning 9.
And they made us sweat it out. It was a vicious trick
terrible.
the gambling gods played on us. We should have been done with this bet. We should have lost it a month ago, but the Lions kept losing. The Packers kept winning. We just needed another wild card team to sneak in there, and we needed it to be Washington.
We had a chance to hedge, and we could have hedged with the Redskins against the Giants. Although I don't know really how we even would have hedged that. Just bet the Giants?
No, so yeah, like the Redskins to make the playoffs was about even odds. So we could have taken the other side of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then we also would have had to sweat out the Packer game, but we were both pretty confident in the Packers win.
Right.
I will say, though, I didn't hear one person like the Lions all week in any walk of life. Either people in my life, people I read, people on TV. Never heard anybody like, oh, don't sleep on this Lions team at home. Everyone was like the Packers.
Yeah.
And then the Packers actually won and covered, which doesn't happen that often. Everybody won on that Packers game.
Yeah, and that they moved it to the night game. Like people maybe had lost money. Like this is the one you're going to double up on. Yeah,
right.
It was like free money.
So there were 3 potential teases in Week 17 yesterday: the Chiefs, the Redskins.
Everyone who needed to win won, except
then the Falcons.
The Redskins. Yeah,
right. But I think the Redskins probably killed some people.
You could say your Patriots were in there too.
It was a pretty high line.
Yeah.
I think what everybody forgot, and Thomas Boswell wrote a good piece about this last night in the Washington Post, is that the Giants and the Redskins just hate each other. Mm-hmm. And the Giants were like, screw this. We're not rolling over so you get in the playoffs. And they played as hard as just about any team yesterday.
It's amazing.
They really wanted it. They benched Odell in the second half, and that was it.
Yeah, that could have sat their starters. No reason. No, they're locked into the 5 seed, except that they knew we bet that. And they will screw us every turn we make. They're going to screw us, the Giants. So.
The team that I keep looking at, you think like there's 12 playoff teams. All right, who should have made it that didn't? I think the Cardinals were the team that just, if you play the season 10 times, I think they make it like 8 as the 6th seed.
Right.
And then maybe 1, everything goes wrong. And then there's one where they had a season like they had this time. They lose in week 1 to the Patriots.
Well, that's it. If they get up for that game, maybe it changes everything. Maybe if they didn't just take your Patriots for granted.
Well, that's
so. And they're tied, sure.
But they missed it. People forget, though, they missed the field goal to win the game.
Right.
The guy had a field goal. He just missed it. Mm-hmm. And then they had another field goal from like 25 to beat the Seahawks in the tie, which they missed.
Right.
So those are 2 wins. Mm-hmm. So now they're 9-7 instead of 7-8-1. And then they had the Rams, I think, in like week 5 at home. They lose to Case Keenum 17-13 on a late Tavon Austin punt return. Case Keenum gets the go-ahead thing, but Palmer got knocked out, was in the concussion protocol.
Right.
But really, they played the Rams and Niners 4 times. Mm-hmm. And they somehow ended up with 7 wins total. And that team had a lot of talent. Like that, to me, it's like, how do you not win 10 games with your schedule?
I look at the AFC and I look at the Texans right now, and I say, and even the Raiders, even though it's not their fault, but how much better are the Broncos and Ravens than that game that we're going to see on
the Texans Raiders? Yeah. I mean, I would even throw in the Bengals.
Cincinnati? I was going to say
how many teams? That's a good one. How many teams would be favored over the Texans or the Raiders who didn't make the playoffs? Yeah, hold on.
In the AFC or just
I'm going to go in general. Would the Cardinals be favored over either of those teams?
I think so. Tampa Bay,
definitely. Washington?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Or
Tennessee would.
The Colts, maybe. I mean, it's at least a pick 'em with any of these teams.
Yeah, I don't love that Colts.
I know,
team.
but there's a half dozen.
Who would you rather have, the Bills or either of those playoff teams? Probably the 2 playoff teams.
I don't know.
The Vikings? The Saints definitely would be favored.
Chargers, Saints for sure.
Saints and Bucks definitely. Cards maybe. Eagles? I mean, those 2 teams are about as good as the Eagles.
They're all pick 'em games for sure.
And that's the thing with the Raiders. Like, they lose Carr, and then you think, well, there's enough there. And then you actually watch them, and it's like, well, their receivers are now out. They have these 2 good receivers who are now useless because they're quarterbacks. Anybody can stack the run against them, and their defense was kind of a little smoke and mirrorsy all year, except for Khalil Mack.
Well, everyone's got a very definite opinion about MVP this year, and it's very strange to me because you shouldn't. You could, and if that Raiders game showed you anything, it's like maybe Derek Carr's the MVP, maybe Matt Ryan, 35 points in the first half. Thank you for only scoring 3 in the second half, and a worst backdoor cover in the history of the game. But
do you want to talk about that? What was it, 38-13?
They scored 19 points, because they scored 19-0 in the fourth quarter.
I did not put the Falcons as one of my super contest picks because that 7.5 points in the Drew Brees garbage time touchdown. I just kept looking at it. It was the only reason. I was like, boy, you could be up 14 with 2 minutes left. And the Saints would have the ball, and I feel like I was going to lose. So I stayed away.
But God bless Drew Brees, and he has
did
a Super
get an
Bowl,
onside, right?
Yeah, the onside kick, and that's the way to do it. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was kicked to the first level of guys who don't even look at the ball.
They're
go
just
to
trying
block.
to block. Yeah.
They really don't look at it.
The hard line drive to the legs.
It was kicked at their feet. They didn't, and even when it hit their feet, no one even scrambled to recover. But Drew Brees, he's a Hall of Famer. He's got great numbers. He's got a Super Bowl win, but he's getting dangerously close to 50% of his yards being meaningless.
Garbage time.
Yeah.
He was kind of quietly our garbage time MVP this year.
Every 7 and 9
Normally
year.
it's Matt Stafford.
Every 7 and 9 year, he gets, that percentage goes up and up.
Last year was Bortles. This year was probably Breeze.
Had to be Breeze.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You couldn't kill him.
So, MVP, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so.
I'm the biggest homer you know.
Sure.
Especially post Deflategate, it briefly drove me insane.
And you don't say Brady. You don't think Brady.
I think he had to go 12-0 to win the MVP.
Wow.
Yeah, I think if he went 12-0, you'd have to be like, all right, he's the MVP.
So Ryan's plus 120, Rodgers 2-1, Brady 3-1, Zeke Elliott 3-1. I don't think Brady 2-1, Elliott 3-1, Prescott then 75-1, and Le'Veon Bell 75-1.
I checked the sportsbook odds. Matt Ryan was plus 140, and Elliott and Dak were like 30-1.
Check it again. Hold on.
Or maybe that was a mistake.
I'll look right now.
But Matt Ryan's definitely the favorite. Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Ryan 120, Rodgers 2, Brady 2. Oh, Elliott 30-1.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's right. You're right. So it's really those three.
I gotta say, I think it's absolutely. I said it last week. I think it's absolutely Matt Ryan.
You do?
Yeah. They 310 yards a game, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. He missed Julio. I was wrong last week. He only missed him for 2.5 games, basically. Much tougher schedule than the Pats played.
Really?
Like he basically played. Yeah, he played a lot of good defenses. They just beat the
Rams and Niners down the stretch in the Saints defense.
Yeah, but I mean during the season, like they played. I think they played a tougher schedule. Brady just kind of lucked out with those 12 games that he had, like Landry Jones instead of Roethlisberger. That Steelers game was kind of the big litmus test game, and then Roethlisberger doesn't play. Seattle was the one really good team they played, and that's not even a top 5 team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if you did?
I love Brady, but it's just hard for me to believe 12 games wins the MVP.
What if you did win above replacement thing, and you just took the most average quarterback, and that's probably like Andy Dalton at this point, right? If Andy Dalton's on Atlanta, what's their record?
I like this game.
Yeah.
Well, but if you're doing this game,
we'll do it for every team.
But then Dak's the MVP if you do this.
Well, let's
because if you replace Dak with any other backup QB, they're a 3-win team.
Not backup. I'm saying average, like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL.
But with Dak, you'd have to replace him with an average backup.
No, just put Andy Dalton on the Cowboys, put him on the Patriots, put him on the Falcons. What are those teams' records?
So you're saying like if Dalton was the Falcons quarterback, they go 8-8.
I think they go like 9-7.
If Garoppolo was the Pats quarterback the whole year,
yeah,
I think we go 10-6 or 11-5. Yeah, I do. Right. I do. As awesome as Brady was, I just think that I think the team and the coaching and the schedule. You know,
I give it to Aaron Rodgers. I do.
So you think if Dalton was the Packers quarterback, the thing is they only won 10 games. They're going to go 6-10, 7-9 with him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good enough difference.
Let's just say it's a shitty MVP year.
I don't know. I think it's pretty competitive.
No, I mean it's compelling, but there's no. Oh, that guy's definitely
ran away with it.
Everybody's got some sort of picadillo. Like Rodgers didn't look good the first 2 months.
I guess, but now he's throwing passes to Geronimo Allison and finding him like.
I know.
It does seem like every 5 plays, Rodgers is good for a 19-yard pass play. You know, like
Well, he had that one play around in the red zone when he just scrambled around for 9 seconds and did Rodgers.
You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah,
too,
it was like,
right?
He's still the best at that.
Yeah.
Brady was great, and the 2 interceptions thing is out of its mind. But I think he had to go 12-0 to win it. I think he'll get votes, but I think Matt Ryan's going to end up winning it because, as we said last week, 11-5, they got boned over on the Julio call in Seattle. They should have won that game. The interference, they didn't get it, and then the 2-point reversion, which was his fault.
Right,
but I don't know. I think they were actually better than an 11-5 team.
I'm okay with any of those 4 even getting.
But not Andy Dalton. You're not okay with that.
No, not Andy Dalton. But even if you put even do the replacement with Zeke Elliott, put like Spencer Ware. Let's say he's the most average running back. What's the Cowboys' record with Spencer Ware?
Right.
I think it's like 9-7.
If we're gonna do this, you could say maybe Le'Veon Bell is the MVP.
Yeah.
If you replace him with, I'm trying to think of somebody.
Well, the problem is D'Angelo Williams had a couple of good games before Bell got there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
maybe there's no MVP. Maybe we roll it over.
Skip it this year.
We've had NBA years like this where I thought they should roll it over like in skins, and the next one's worth 2 trophies.
As long as we're talking about getting rid of awards or skipping awards, how about that Sam Bradford record? Let's throw that out the window. He's the most accurate passer of all time in a single season.
What is it? What does that even mean? He just throws the most accurate check down, 3-yard completions.
Yeah, we've seen it all year long. Like,
that was a rough trade, man.
What are they going to do?
Because they made that trade, they were really adamant. Like, we think this is a Super Bowl team.
Right.
We think this team, we have the pieces. And it was like they completely fell apart. Hey, I want to talk about MeUndies really quick. They sponsored the first podcast we ever did. They sent me a big box of comfortable underwear. I've been wearing them ever since. Wow. Every pair of MeUndies made from sustainably sourced modal, a fabric that's 3 times softer than cotton. Once you try them on, you'll understand why it has the rep as the world's most comfortable underwear. MeUndies has dozens of styles, limited edition prints to help you make a statement with your underwear. Boxers, trunks, thongs, bikinis, you name it. My favorite are the boxer briefs. Shipping free in the U.S. and Canada. Try them on, and if they aren't the most comfortable, best-feeling undies you've ever had, they will refund you and let you keep your first pair for free. For a limited time, every BS podcast listener gets 20% off their first order. Go to special URL, MeUndies.com/BS. Again, 20% off plus free shipping. 20% off your first order at MeUndies.com/BS. All right, Coach of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's your guy again.
It has to be, right?
Yeah. I hate to say it. But then why wouldn't you say Brady? You'd say because he could have done it with Garoppolo.
Yeah. 12 games is tough for me.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I like this.
I like this from you. I just feel like I already feel like I'm enough of a homer. But to argue that somebody's 12 games are better than Matt Ryan's 16 doesn't feel right for me.
Brady is, I don't know, what can you say about
him? The case
he makes you pay, though. He really does make you pay if you screw up. Look at the Dolphins, and I needed them to cover yesterday, and they didn't, even though they were driving with 8 minutes left and fumbled at the 7. But he just makes you pay. He'll find Edelman. He'll be patient, and he picks you apart. And that's nothing we haven't heard about Brady before.
Here's the reason that if I had a vote, I would vote for Brady, because it wasn't his fault that he got suspended for 4 games. So if you're going to make that case, it'd be like, why should this guy be penalized because he got railroaded by the NFL?
What do you mean wasn't his fault? He cheated. What are you talking about?
He did not cheat. Oh. He was exonerated in every step of the way.
Oh, I thought we agreed on this.
Is there anybody else you would vote for Coach of the other than Belichick? Jack Del Rio.
Del Rio, they're talking about,
they usually go for whoever kind of came out of nowhere versus the Popovich-Belichick guy who just every year is awesome. But the Pats went 14-2, which I don't think we've had the highest wins total in like 5 or 6 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think usually they
how does 12, Belichick 4, 13, fare in this? Do they just usually skip him, or does he get it?
I think that media just doesn't like him.
But has he won in the last, how many times has he won the Coach of the Year?
I think only like once.
Let's look this up.
Let's talk about coaches really quick, because there's 6 open jobs. Denver, San Diego, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Rams, Niners, and possibly the Saints if Sean Payton gets traded. Which job would you want? If you're a coach.
Denver.
You're a hot candidate.
Of course, Denver.
You'd want Denver.
Sure, yeah. They're the closest, I think.
You're working for John Elway, though.
Yeah.
It does seem like he has a healthy ego at this point. He's run out a couple coaches. He's run out a couple QBs. He went against Tebow. He murdered Tim Tebow's career.
Right.
I don't know. I'd be a little scared to work for him.
Well, I don't think you're going 3-13. So I think you're not getting Chip Kelly. You're not going to get canned your first year.
True.
Right.
You don't have a quarterback.
What kind of injury?
I would want San Diego.
You want San Diego?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk, by the way.
I'm playing in Carson, California for 2 years in front of 27,000 people, which I actually think is this crazy experiment that's going to work. That would really be awesome. 27,000 people would be incredible.
What happens
just packed in?
What happens when they don't pack it? What happens when it's half full?
How can they not get 27,000 fans?
You watch. Are you going to Carson?
No, but there's a bunch of people over there that would.
I guess so. I don't like this whole San Diego thing moving, because
you
talked about it last week and how they're going to have to pay whoever's going to the Rams. You think maybe Gruden $60 million. You have to do the same for the Chargers. Now you're spending $100 million on 2 LA coaches on bad teams. It's like,
I don't think you have to do it with the Chargers, because I think they're closer than that. I
think
they have good players. Yeah. Because that next year they'll have Keenan Allen back. Gordon will be healthy. They have Bosa. They have a quarterback.
They have more players the fans could be excited about. The fans are already done.
They have another number 5 pick, number 5, number 6, whatever that is. I think that's a good job.
Yeah,
I would much the Rams thing. I look at that. I wrote down some Rams quotes that I read yesterday. This is from defensive end William Hayes. We just need to change the culture, man. We have to create a winning culture around here. That's what we're lacking right now. And then tight end Lance Kendrick said, we just need to really have someone that can motivate us.
That's right.
Not that Jeff Fisher didn't, but we need someone to motivate us. And we need someone to be on our butts when we mess up. Not that Jeff Fisher didn't.
Crazy. They need no motivation. William Hayes believes dinosaurs don't exist. So.
You're right. I think that team lost 20-plus points 6 out of their last 7.
Wow.
I think that's the worst job because not only that, but you have. I mean, how many people went to that game yesterday?
Not
like
20,000. They said 55,000.
No way.
That wasn't 30. There wasn't 30,000.
No way.
That's what I mean. Like the LA doesn't care about these teams. They're going to feel the same way about the Chargers.
No, and I actually think. Could you see the Chargers if they don't sign a lease, stay in like kind of San Diego, Orange County, LA limbo for 2 years, and then just jump to some other place that needs a football team?
You could bet now that you have to lay 3 to win 1 that the Chargers are coming to LA. Like it seems like it's a done deal for next year.
That they're coming to LA.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I don't either.
I don't understand how they're going to fill that giant stadium every week. There were 16 home games a year in LA, and I don't understand who's going.
No.
Even if the team is 13-3, I think it would be dicey.
But does it matter? I mean, from an owner's perspective, does the franchise increase in value so much that it doesn't matter if you fill as long as you don't read the articles about yourself? If you don't fill the stadium, is your net value going up that much so it doesn't matter?
Well, for Kroenke, it's great. He doesn't care.
Right.
He's the number 2 market. I don't understand the point with the Chargers.
Right.
And if what's weird is maybe they should go to Oakland. Because it seems like Oakland should have a football team.
The Oakland Chargers.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
At that point, you just change your name, right? You do like what the Tennessee Titans did. You go from the Houston Oilers to Tennessee Titans. You pretend you don't even have a legacy. Were you surprised Chip Kelly got fired?
A little bit. Like I don't love the guy, but that's a great FU if he actually had a chance to go back to Oregon and told them no, and then they canned him after a year.
2 1 year and out coaches. I don't think we'll ever see again in our lifetime.
No, right. I was thinking. I'm trying to put this together in my head, but Colin Kaepernick won. Like I don't know. Does every team do this? They vote on like the most courageous player on the team or something. He won for the Niners. The teammates vote. I wonder if like upper management is like, Chip Kelly kind of made a hero of this guy. We didn't even want him starting. And all of a sudden, not only was he decent, but now he's well liked by the teams. Like, we need to start everything over. It was a mess.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that. I was just thinking that they hired this guy who was supposedly innovative.
Yeah.
And when you watch them play, it was one of the least innovative teams. That's the part I didn't understand. Like when he came to the Eagles, it was really fun for like 3 weeks. I didn't necessarily thought what he did was going to work.
Right.
But at least he was different. And the way they looked was different and the plays they ran. And now by the end of the San Francisco thing, they were just conventional.
I think they needed to do
never
something.
Scrambled or did anything.
Right. But there was also like the leadership thing where, I mean, they came off like an off season where 3 25-year-olds retired, you know? So they needed somebody in that clubhouse, like make it exciting to play for you. And he didn't do that.
Would you rather be the Browns or the Niners?
I think the Niners.
I think I'd rather be the Browns.
Oh, they're just so cursed.
They got the first pick and the 9th pick in a really good draft.
I'm going to get my cough out here. They don't have a quarterback still.
Aren't they going to take Myles Garrett? He's going to be the number 1 pick. I do this every year. I know nothing about college football, and every year I know who the number 1 pick's going to be. Everyone tries to be, maybe this guy, maybe this guy. It's like, you know what it's going to be is the guy who's the best quarterback.
Right.
That's who it is every year.
I'm getting excited. Their 9th pick is going to be the tackle for Central Michigan. Like, who cares at this point? But, what do you get? How do you get the fans excited now?
Did you see Tennessee has the 5th pick from the Rams? Or not? From the Rams.
Yeah.
They have 5th and 18th.
That's pretty good.
To go with, I don't know, a pretty nice team.
Do us a favor. Win the division next year, Tennessee. Put us out of this misery where
they were definitely the best team.
Where your division leader is locked into that Saturday early game, just in the playoffs.
God. Yeah, we're going to talk about those games in a second. The one other thing I wanted to ask you was, what was your favorite Georgia Dome memory?
That's it, huh?
That was it. Do you remember? Can you name 3 things that happened in the Georgia Dome?
Thurman Thomas forgot his helmet.
Okay.
Against the Cowboys. I feel like there was a bad missed Morton Anderson field goal or something. I don't know.
That was in Minnesota.
See, I can't. They don't call the Minnesota Georgia Dome.
Michael Vick, when he beat the Packers and cost everyone a lot of money, including us.
Was that
was
a
in
night
Lambeau.
Game?
Yeah, that was in Lambeau.
That was in Lambeau. Wow, I don't know. I mean,
wasn't there like Matt Ryan? Didn't he come back to beat Russell Wilson like 4 years ago? I think he did. Russell Wilson
in Atlanta.
Took the year I was like, when Russell Wilson was a rookie.
Right.
I was totally into him. That it was like a running thing the whole year, but I actually kind of believed it.
There had to be a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania there or something. Nothing?
The Olympics, maybe?
Oh.
Mike Vick? PETA protests?
I can't think.
They were like, we're saying goodbye to the Georgia Dome. I was like, oh, okay.
God, it seems like it's a new stadium.
Jesus. Yeah, new thing, 25 years of the Georgia Dome, and somehow we're ready for another one. Hey, are you hiring, Sal?
Yeah.
Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Well, posting your job in one place isn't enough anymore. For the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites, and now you can. ZipRecruiter.com. Post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry. Post once, watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses. In the meantime, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. We might have to do this to find our West Coast social media head, Joe Fuentes. Once again, ZipRecruiter.com/BS. All right.
Well, so ZipRecruiter is nice, if I may just jump in for a second.
You think they should help with the NFL coaches or no?
Yeah, why not? But, if you can't do that, our friend Daniel found the CFO for his company on Facebook. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so just as a backup. You go ZipRecruiter first, but then.
Daniel did send an email to all his friends looking for a CFO. That was great. Yeah. He got Cody points for that.
He did. He ended up third, yeah.
You did the Character of the Year awards last week.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
My friends Ken and Harry are at the top. They're just monsters. Our agent, James Baby Doll Dixon, he's also a monster. He
Brad Mulcahy is great.
Brad's great, yeah.
So I would say this is the worst Saturday of playoff games we've ever had.
Saturday, oh yeah.
Round one.
I'm not excited about the whole batch.
You knew right away that Raiders-Texans was going to be the first early Saturday game. Mm-hmm. I've never been more convinced of anything in my entire life than that was going to be what we call the Shakey's game.
Right, because we go to Shakey's. That's where our banquet is, our fantasy banquet.
Or fantasy football banquet, and there's always a terrible game on. The one year there wasn't was Pittsburgh-Denver when Tebow did the overtime touchdown.
That was good.
So you compare it to that, which is like the best you can do with the early Saturday game.
And it's usually Cincinnati at Houston or Kansas City at Houston, but that Houston team usually has J.J. Watt. There's something to be excited about. This is McGloin or Connor Cook against Osweiler or
Tom Savage. I can't ever remember a worse quarterback battle in the playoffs, and I'm going to go this far. I like to bet on every playoff game, put things in teases. I'm staying away.
You're skipping it?
Staying away.
Right. We're running out of games, though, is the problem. You've got to bet everything.
I mean, I'll pick it, but I can't imagine putting money on this. I'm sure I'll talk myself into it. But
this is a play-in game, basically. This is UNC Nashville against Mount St. Mary's.
Like the Tuesday, Tuesday March Madness
game? The winner plays Kansas. Yeah. It's really bad. We were robbed of our freebie all year since week 4. We're like, all right, Houston or someone bad's going to win the division. We'll take Kansas City or Oakland, whoever's on the road. They'll give a touchdown. We'll put them in a money line parlay with one of the other 3 favorites. We were robbed. So I'm sorry, Raiders fans, but Derek Carr really screwed me and Bill more than you guys.
I don't know what to do with this game because you're taking out the quarterbacks completely. So now it's running game, defense, home field advantage. Houston will have the home field advantage.
Yeah.
Which is good. That crowd is pretty iffy. That crowd checks out pretty quickly, and that crowd gets real quiet. And, most football stadiums now aren't very good with the exception of a select few. That's one of the ones that stands out for me is just super quiet.
Not good? Really?
Yeah. Like you can see when you're flicking games and it's just like dead silence.
Yeah.
And they just don't like the team. They haven't had a lot to cheer about.
Not a ton to be excited about.
No, I don't blame them.
Right.
But I just think like if Osweiler starts that game and starts off badly.
Ugh. I don't even want to watch this.
The crowd checks out. Also, how many Raider fans are going to be there?
Oh,
do the Raider fans travel for this? Is it like a Raiders, Steelers, Packer fan situation?
They do a nice job for that.
Yeah. Could we have 25,000 Raider fans there?
Vegas doesn't think so. Let's just put it that way.
We were watching football yesterday, and I said to the people I was with, I'm like 20 minutes away from saying that Matt McGloin looks pretty good. Like he was throwing nice pat. Like he had He has arm strength, and he's not inaccurate. And then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then they just kept showing him with a sad look on his face. I had the Raiders by 2.5 in Houston.
I had Raiders by 3. You were off 5.5 points and you won. It's Houston by 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now you're betting it.
Wow.
Now you're putting
so
Matt
that's
McGloin.
Just all home field advantage.
Now you're putting Matt McGloin in the teaser. Now you're doing what you told me not to do. +9.
What's amazing is that we watched this game in Mexico City like 8 weeks ago.
Oh, right.
And there's nothing to take away from it whatsoever because Derek Carr was in it. Osweiler was playing a little better back then. It was before he lost his confidence.
Couple bad spots in that game, but yeah. Right.
I mean, Houston couldn't beat Tennessee yesterday. You could say that they didn't have much to play for, but when Osweiler came in, I would say Osweiler had a shitload to play for.
He was trying.
Yeah. He had that QB sneak. He goes in, he gets hit by 7 guys.
I don't like this game. And I'll tell you this, I don't remember a playoff, a wild card weekend where there are 8 teams. Only one of them is hot right now, the Packers. The other 7 either lost this week or last week or struggled to win this week, right? Like who else is? They're all like flatlining right now.
So Houston's D. They gave up 27 to the Raiders, 21 to the Chargers, 21 to the Packers. That's pretty good. 22 to the Colts, 20 to the Jags, 10 to the Bengals. And then 24 to the Titans yesterday. So my takeaway from that is that it's a solid defense. They'll keep people
even without Watt.
I would say they would keep a team with a bad quarterback under 20, right? So that means we're looking at a 17-14, 17-13, 19-16, 13-10 type game. And that would favor home field and defense.
Right.
So maybe it does make sense.
Yeah, you're not going to give 3, though. If you do have to bet this game, are you giving 3?
Raiders defense, last few weeks, gave up 32 to the Panthers, 24 to the Bills, 21 to the Chiefs, 16 to the Chargers, 25 to the Colts, 24 to the Broncos. Not a very good defense. And the advanced metrics back it up.
Is this a case of first score wins kind of thing? If Hopkins gets free for a long touchdown,
this game makes you sad.
The
I hear the sadness in your voice.
I don't like it. It's a bummer. We're running out of games. It shouldn't count.
I know. We only have 11 playoff games to work with,
and
this one's a throwaway.
I'm telling you, Baltimore and Denver should be on the field at the same time. They should have all 4 teams on the field. Have one emerge.
Do you think it should be like a WWE pay-per-view?
Yeah,
where it's like Oakland was scheduled to play today, but in their place. The Cincinnati Bengals.
They show up in masks. I like it.
What a terrible game. I'd like to apologize to America in advance. And then the second one isn't good either.
This is at night, Saturday night, Detroit at Seattle.
That's the worst Saturday night playoff game I think we've ever had for round 1.
I thought they were going to steal Giants Green Bay for Saturday night.
No,
they're giving that to Buck Aikman. They'd steal from Fox.
You and I could have guessed these. Yeah. We could have guessed the exact sequence.
Seattle goes Saturday night.
Yeah, that Giants Packers was a guaranteed Sunday game.
All right. And your Patriots play Saturday night now. We know that for next week. And
we're going to talk about that. Oh, we should talk about that now.
Cowboys play late Sunday.
The Patriots are guaranteed to go against Matt McGloin, Connor Cook, who looked terrible yesterday, Tom Savage, or Brock Osweiler. Or Matt Moore, or possibly Ryan Tannehill with a limp.
Possibly.
Those are the 6 quarterbacks that are coming in Foxborough. It's amazing.
We're not going to guess the line now, but you have to put it close to 2 touchdowns.
I think if Miami's in there, I don't think it gets that high.
Tannehill is the best case, lowest number scenario.
Is Matt Moore not bad, or am I nuts?
No, he's okay.
What am I?
We'll get there. He wasn't great.
I don't think they play Tannehill. I think it's going to be Matt Moore.
Really?
Yeah, unless Tannehill's healthy. I would
not
play
even
Matt
this
Moore.
week. There's talk about him playing this week.
I wouldn't unless he was healthy. I can't think anything worse than a hobbled Ryan Tannehill.
Well, you'll see it Saturday early.
So
Detroit, Seattle.
This is probably too high. I do not think the Lions are a good football team. Was partially vindicated yesterday by that Packers performance. Ugh. Seahawks by 9.5 in Seattle, and I don't even think Seattle's a good football team.
I went 7, and it's 7.5.
Oh, so you win.
So I get that. We're tied going into Sunday.
So they're begging for us to tease that.
They are.
They're begging us.
Now, you and I have to figure out, is Detroit done screwing us? Or do they have one more gut wrencher in them?
Here's the thing. Even though we lost that bet, we won big on the Rousey bet.
Right.
So I feel like it all evened out. We won on the Seahawks.
I know. I went a little bigger than you did
the
on the
Steelers,
playoff.
Rousey.
I know.
Oh, I know. But it was at least it tempered the blow for me.
Why is Rousey not armbarring everybody to death now? Why is she going toe-to-toe?
Rousey needs to get a real trainer.
Yeah.
She needs tactics.
Right.
You can't just wander towards somebody like a Walking Dead zombie.
She just was determined, she
just get punched in the face. Out. She's just wobbling toward her.
That Nunez will never lose to a blonde woman again. She
was so
They'll
angry.
even put her up against the blonde.
I already felt good about that pick, and then when they said that she made $200,000 and Rousey made $3 million, I was like, I texted you, I wanted to put more money on Nunez. It's like, oh my god,
she's
going to be so angry
or something.
So Seahawks.
What do you think the Seahawks' home record is? Without looking,
they've blown 3 games there, right? 5-3.
No, they're 7-1.
Oh.
But it doesn't seem like it, right? You'd never think they were 7-1. I was about to come on here and be like, they lost their home swagger. It's a different team. 7-1.
That team's a mess. I've
just
watched a lot
Arizona.
of Seahawks.
Yeah.
They have Richard Sherman returning punts.
Yeah.
They have no third down back. That guy Collins at running back is just not very good.
I know it's Collins or Rawls against Zenner. This is a bad running back matchup. You have a really bad quarterback matchup in the early game, really bad running back in the late game Saturday.
They have the offensive line is still abysmal. I watched yesterday with Danny Kelly from The Ringer, who used to be the chief Seahawks blogger on SB Nation and knows the team inside out. And he's just so not confident in this Seahawks team because they've lost too many guys and their O-line wasn't good to begin with, but Wilson's still great.
Yeah.
And the Stafford thing, that the middle finger, when he's talking about it, he has to wear a glove to keep the splint in place. Like I didn't think he was very accurate in that game yesterday. Their defense isn't good.
I thought he threw some good balls. No?
He threw some good balls, and then he sailed some other ones.
His best one was a Hail Mary. How about Al Michaels all over the gambling talk?
Oh,
that Hail Mary put the game over. That was
he plays it up now. He must have people that mention it to him.
Yeah, it's so good. He's like, wow, overwhelming pass.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think Detroit's good. I can't imagine they would go into Seattle and win. Normally, there's a scenario where this is an upset game to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Lions are the team. Like if this was that piece of shit Redskins team, even them, I would be like, oh, well, maybe they could score, and it's like a 34-31.
I know Cousins cost us a lot of money. I just hope he cost himself money too. I hope he cost in his next contract. Hope he cost himself $3 million. Once you tie that game, you can't lose to the Giants. You can't throw an interception on first down there.
It was one of those QB interceptions you could see coming before he threw it. He's scrambling. He was throwing across his body. Right. Had the guy open for a split second.
So bad.
I want to know what happened to their run game, though.
I know, right?
If I'm a Redskins fan, I'm leaving that game going, what happened to Fat Rob? Fat Rob, we were running the ball down people's throats for like a week, and then all of a sudden, that guy Thompson was in all the time, and Fat Rob could only run for 1 yard a carry. And
did they have 3 points? Like did they kick a field goal to start the fourth quarter? Was that their first points? I'm sick over that game. The Redskins.
They were awful. They were really embarrassing.
All right, let's move to Sunday.
Before we do, I want to talk about Vistaprint. They are all about supporting small business owners. That's why they're offering 500 business cards for just $9.99. If you go to Vistaprint.com and enter my promo code BS at checkout, Vistaprint offers tons of custom products for home and office needs. Business cards, postcards, flyers, banners, apparel, invitations, you name it. Do you have a business card, Sal?
I don't, no.
You should think about it.
Yeah?
They guarantee they'll love your products. I don't. I actually should get Vistaprint.
All right.
I need a business card.
See, this worked out nicely.
Yeah. You can personalize them. You can personalize other marketing materials, customize the text, color, backsides, and more. For an even higher quality card, upgrade to a thicker stock or add a brilliant finish like metallic spot gloss raised print. Right now, again, offering 500 custom business cards for $9.99, which is a 50% saving over regular site pricing. All you have to do is visit Vistaprint.com, design your custom business cards, enter my code BS at checkout. Go to Vistaprint.com. Order today. All right. Sunday. Oh, I have bad news for you. I'm not going to the Shakey's thing.
No, you're going.
I can't. I have a soccer thing for my
Saturday.
daughter.
It's not Sunday. You just said Sunday.
On Saturday, I have a soccer thing with my daughter.
Why? What time?
It's all day. I'm gone.
She has 10 soccer things a week.
I'm gone.
You could skip this.
This is it. These are the glory times with my daughter before she turns on me.
Oh, come on.
She's got like a year left.
I talked to her at New Year's. She turned on you.
We were fine?
She said she turned on you already.
Damn it.
You can't go. You don't want to see Brad spill orange soda on the trophy and everything?
I'm not going to be in the Los Angeles area.
Oh, man. That's
Can
bad.
I send a proxy?
Yeah, I think you should send a proxy.
Imitator?
You should have to eat that terrible food.
I should have to pay for the Shakey's dinner because I didn't go.
All right,
Sunday.
Well, that stinks. Miami at Pittsburgh.
So all 4 home teams aren't winning because that never happens.
Well, let me show it's funny you say that. Last year, all 4 road teams won in the wild card round.
I don't ever remember all 4 home teams winning. I'd have to I'll do the research before Friday's podcast with Lombardi and House, but so somebody's going to upset the apple cart.
You think it could be this one? I mean, you can't even count that first game. I don't know, but that's a...
Here's my question. A lot of people really like the Steelers team, and I don't see it. And I don't know whether I don't see it because they're on my corner with the Patriots, or I don't know. I trust my instincts a little bit here. So Steelers have won. They were 4-5 and they finished 11-5. They won 7 straight. They lost to your team pretty convincingly. You watched that game.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were in the ballpark with the Cowboys in that game. Since then, they beat the Browns. They beat that shitty Colts team. They beat the Giants, which was a nice win at home.
Yep.
That was evil Eli, though, that day.
Right.
It was Eli just doing Eli things.
He threw the pass. You knew it was
he was awful. They beat the Bills. They came back to beat the Bengals in a game that would frustrated the hell out of both of us. That I still don't know what the Bengals were doing in the second half of that game. They beat the Ravens in Week 16 in a game that if the guy doesn't get in the end zone and just gets tripped and falls on the 2-yard line, the Ravens win, and the Steelers are fighting to get into the playoffs. And then they beat the Browns. I don't see it. I get the Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown thing. As we've said many times, Roethlisberger, the ball to me doesn't look like it's coming out of his hand correctly.
No way.
I don't think their defense is very good.
Pretty soft.
Flacco had guys open that whole Ravens game. Yeah. Shazier's great. They have a couple guys. Mitchell's scary. He's a little TJ Wardish. But I think you can throw in that team. I think Miami can hang with them. So anyway, I had Steelers by, what did I say, 9.5?
You said 9.
I said 9. I think the line's too high. I actually think this should be like a 6-point line.
Well, that's what I went. I said 6.5. You said 9. It is 9.5.
Yeah,
you're right.
And that's like an extra field goal because it's the Steelers and it's Matt Moore. But I don't think they're going to bother Matt Moore.
Well, let me ask you this.
They don't have the kind of team that's going to be like, oh, my God, they've been in Matt Moore's face all day. That's not what the Steelers team is.
But you used to do this this playoff manifesto thing, and I loved it. How many caveats does Matt Moore on the road violate for this playoff manifesto?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
It's Matt Moore versus Roethlisberger. It's not great.
Right.
I like Gase, though. And I think Ajayi is good. I think Jarvis Landry is good. Like, I think Miami has good players.
There's no guarantee that Pittsburgh's going to stop this offense.
They have good cornerbacks. They lucked out with this converted receiver that they put a cornerback. He's been good.
Sometimes there's an angry team that steps. Like I said, 7 of these 8 teams have not been hot at all. Sometimes somebody steps up. And Pittsburgh lost to Miami in a brutal game. I don't know how they. Remember, it was shocking that they lost. Maybe they just explode.
That's the other thing. So, the case against Miami, other than Matt Moore, is all-time cream puff schedule. They did the same schedule that they just all of their wins were. I think the Steelers were the only good win they had. They beat the Cardinals by 3.
They beat the Bill. That's a tough. That's the only thing I say. They went to Buffalo and won that game.
But I'm just looking at who they beat. They only beat one team that finished 500 or above, and it was the Steelers.
That's what's wrong with these playoff teams this first weekend. We have in the back of our mind, or maybe not even so far back, 4 games that we've seen all these teams play that were stinkers, absolute stink bombs. Like the Ravens slaughtered the Dolphins, and that was like 4 weeks ago. That wasn't that long ago.
Right.
The Steelers look terrible against so many, even teams that they beat 2 weeks ago.
My only point is, I don't think the Steelers should be favored by that many points in a home playoff game against really anybody, unless it was like Matt McGloin or somebody like that. They killed the Chiefs in week 4. They beat the Jets by 18. They beat the Browns by 15. The Colts by 21. The Giants by 10. Those were their only double-figure wins.
Giants was a good win.
Giants was a good win. That was their best win. But again, it was evil Eli. It was one of those Eli games that you knew pretty much right away.
You just expect that Roethlisberger's in sync with Antonio Brown at this point in the year, and he's not. Like that, we waited the whole Ravens game for it to happen. You know, it's just like, oh,
Rodgers is coming on.
Forgot he has that. Eli Rodgers.
Rodgers has been pretty good. Bell is frightening.
Sure, yeah.
Sue's going to do stuff.
I think we'll be able to tell right away.
Sue scared me with about 5 minutes left. Something he got into it with Blunt.
Oh yeah,
and Blunt like ripped his face mask, and it was a whole thing. But they kept both of them in. I'm like, oh my god, Sue's going to take out like Edelman on this. Like, there's no scarier angry guy than Sue.
Yeah, right.
I was like, he's just going to break somebody's leg. But I think because they were about to make the playoffs, he didn't want to get suspended.
5 minutes left in the season. You're right. Yeah.
If their season was over, I think he would have just taken out
7
somebody.
and 8. It's a different story. How about Aqib Talib ripping Crabtree's chain off during the game?
That was unbelievable.
There's like petty crimes going on in the middle of the games.
Aqib Talib, like, it's unbelievable that he's been able to continue to stay on the field and have an NFL career. Like he shot himself.
Right. I
He
still
really
think they're
seems
going
like
to
the
sign him.
sketchiest guy in the league.
Patriots are going to somehow sign him sometime this week.
He was good for us.
You
Except
got Malcolm Floyd scored for you.
Oh, Michael Floyd.
No, Michael Floyd, rather. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted about that.
Yeah.
Did you see the
Why
video?
not? The video of what?
The guy was asleep at an intersection. He was so drunk he was like actually asleep.
No, really?
The cops like banging on his window.
Wow.
And Michael Floyd's like not waking up for like 45 seconds. And the cop's like, can you please wake up? Can you please get out of the car? Like that's how drunk he was.
Right.
And then he wasn't honest with the Colts about it, so they the Cardinals, so they waived him. But then you know, all the stuff was like what a good teammate he is. All these guys in the Cardinals vouch for him. Came to the Pats, he's been working his ass off.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we've never had a receiver quite like him.
What do you care? He's a drunk. So you're friends with 50 drunks.
That's true. That's how I've rationalized it. But yeah, he's this big physical.
Right.
The only guy we've ever kind of had like him was David Givens during the Brady era. Just the big, but he's more physical than Givens was. Brady's never really had somebody like this.
You had LaFell, but he didn't pan.
He wasn't physical like this guy. No.
All right.
So it sounds like you like the Steelers. You're going to put them in a parlay.
I'm not saying anything. I'm
okay.
I kind of do. I kind of do right now. Just probably to win, but Giants at Green Bay.
Giants at Green Bay. Before we do this, last one. Hint water. You know you should drink 8 glasses of water a day. Did you know that?
I did know that. Is that true?
Yeah, you should. Water's really good for you. Most people don't drink 8 glasses of water a day because it's bland and they want something that tastes better. They drink soda. They drink all this crap. Drink Hint water instead. Hint is pure water infused with the taste of fresh fruit, flavors like watermelon, peach. I'm listening to speak.
You can't read a
watermelon, peach, mango, grapefruit, and many more. This Hint water is making me thirsty. That's why I can't speak. No sugar, no chemicals. Great tasting, all natural, fruit flavored water. And you don't have to carry heavy cases of water back from the store. Have it delivered right to your doorstep. Right now, new customers get a single variety pack shipped directly to their door, including 3 bottles each of Hint's most popular flavors. 4 of them: pineapple, watermelon, crisp apple, and blackberry.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry, I had a stroke.
I'll finish this for you. My favorite fruits: watermelons, peas, and straw bunnies.
Normally it's $24, but get it for $15 at drinkhint.com/BS. Put in code BS. Drinkhint.com/BS, code BS. I'm actually legitimately thirsty. That's why I'm having trouble reading this.
Some water.
All right, last one. The
Giants.
best game of the bunch. This is a great game.
It really is.
I'm really excited for this game.
Well, the
Giants,
problem
Packers.
is I have a vest, like whoever I root for, I know I'm going to get screwed here on the Cowboys end. Who do you root for? Do you get the Giants out of there if you're a Cowboy fan?
Yeah, you want the Giants out.
You want Rodgers coming to Dallas.
Yeah.
Because the Giants-Cowboys is probably, my friends and I were talking about, it's probably a 21-17 game no matter what.
You get the
Maybe
Giants
the Cowboys could score.
Take the Giants out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, what you should do is you should be rooting for the Lions.
Well, I know. But the problem with having a bye is whoever you play is kind of hot, you know? They're coming off a win. They have momentum. So if the Lions went to Seattle and won, I don't know.
As much as I don't like that Lions team, I don't trust the Seahawks at all. And I could see like a 10-3, they're up, and you could talk yourself into it pretty fast.
Right. But this one is, I don't know. I mean, you say Green Bay, sure, they've done great things to get to the playoffs. They're the only one of the 8 teams that's hot, but those corners are so banged up now.
The Packers 3.5 was my pick.
I said 6, and it opened at 7.5, and it's now 4. So you win.
Wow.
You win the week.
Why would it open at 7.5?
The Giant money came pouring in.
I think the Giants are like legitimately good. They're built for Lambeau 7 degrees. I think they're more built for Lambeau 7 degrees than the Packers are.
I'm excited for this game.
That's a great game.
It's going to be really good.
So, quickly on the Packers and everybody raving about how hot they are, I just want to point out who they beat. Because they did lose to the Titans by 20.
Well, you can't do this for every team and say nobody ever beat anyone good. There's got to be somebody good.
All I'm saying is I keep hearing about how red hot the Packers are. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Texans. They killed the Seahawks. They barely beat the Bears. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Lions. Congratulations.
Well,
you have one win that I respect out of those 6.
But they're the Packers. They're a December team. They won all the games they were supposed to at the end.
That's fine. But they were 10-6. And now their secondary is really banged up.
I didn't feel they lucked out in winning any of these games.
I don't think they lucked out either.
Yeah, so I think the
Bears was a little lucky. Like they blew that game.
Guess so.
It should have at least gone to overtime.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think the Packers. I think Rodgers is really good and they can throw the ball. But I think this Giants team's really good. I think that line should be 3.
It's going to be fun. Let's not forget the Giants were awful 2 Thursdays ago against Philly.
Well, evil Eli is always lurking. The other thing with the Giants is that, and it's weird because it's only happened twice, but Eli has gone into Lambeau and won in cold weather twice. I think he's 2-0 there.
Do you feel any team has a coaching advantage?
Seattle. Out of these first 8.
Seattle's like the only one right now, right?
I mean, if you could say Seattle even...
So Pete Carroll, as long as something stupid doesn't happen.
They were pretty. I think their offensive play calling was really goofy this year. I have no idea why they don't use Jimmy Graham more.
Right.
When I watched them, I'm like, I was saying to Danny Kelly yesterday, I think they should use Jimmy Graham like the Pats used to use Hernandez, like as an H-back and move him around, and he's always in a different spot. And
when he's on and when they find him, they seem unstoppable. Yeah. Right.
I don't get it. I don't think there's a huge coaching advantage. The last thing I wanted to go over with you. Does everyone in LA have a cough?
I think so, yeah.
Super Bowl odds.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to print these.
So the Pats are plus 180, which is basically, round 2, they're going to win.
So are they even to win the AFC or a little less? Are they like minus 120 or
something like that.
Maybe that's the bet.
No, I think their odds are better than that. There might be like minus 200. We can look this up.
It's got to be, yeah.
So
my computer's dead.
Your computer died. So the Pats plus 180, Falcons plus 950, and the Chiefs 10-1. I think are the 3 best Super Bowl bets, and I wouldn't recommend any of them because I don't think the odds are good enough. But I think the Chiefs 10-1 is a really good bet because they win round 2. They probably have the Steelers coming to them. They'd have to go into New England, and then they'd have to win the Super Bowl. So the odds aren't even that good, but I think those odds are better than the Steelers at 9-1. The Steelers have to go to Kansas City and beat Kansas City. I don't understand why their odds are worse than Kansas City's.
I love the Chiefs.
But don't you wish those odds were like 18-1 and not 10-1?
Yeah.
I think people know that. So then the Falcons are plus 950, Packers plus 950. Your team's plus 375, which seems about right.
For the whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Giants are 18-1. Steelers 9-1, which is ludicrous. And then the Seahawks are 14-1.
So, okay, you're right. The Patriots are minus 200 for the AFC.
Right.
So, let's say they're going to win that.
So you're basically just betting round 3 minus 200.
So what would there be round 3? If they're home against...
They'll be like 6-7 point favorites.
Worst case scenario against Pittsburgh, they'll be 6-7. Kansas City.
I think it's going to be the Chiefs.
So they'll be like minus 300. Yeah, I guess they get you. It's the same way. I think go heavy on the Pats to win the AFC, and then have some money on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. And then when the Chiefs lose in the Super Bowl, it'll be hilarious.
I think Vegas has completely figured out these future bets.
Really?
And they've made it so that there's no value whatsoever. The best value I saw was the NFC is now 3.5 in the Super Bowl.
Plus 3.5?
Yeah.
What's Atlanta, did you say, to win the Super Bowl?
They're in plus 950. That means those odds aren't even
so
that good.
So are they 4 or 5 to 1 to win the NFC?
I can look. No, they're going to be... They're going to be plus 340. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
So they'd be home for
So maybe
Seattle?
Those are the best odds.
That's not bad.
Because basically, they're guaranteed.
I don't think anyone stops that offense, and they're not having. They don't have to go in cold weather. Place. That's not bad.
So do you want to make that our Don Julio shot of the week, or do you want to go?
Let's do it.
You don't want to do Oscars?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't announced the Oscars yet.
All right, we'll do Oscars next week.
Nothing against my beloved Cowboys, but I think Atlanta, I think that's the best value, NFC, plus 340. And let me just say this. Good job, Tony Romo, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think if that game, people say it's meaningless, I think it proves something. If you want, if you want 2 field goals in 2.5 quarters, Mark Sanchez is your guy. If you want 1 field goal for 4 drives, Dak Prescott's your guy. If you want to score every drive, touchdown,
Tony Romo. You're still in the Romo camp.
Antonio Romero Romo. That's your man.
I love it. I thought he looked great.
134.4 passer rating.
His arm looked great. His arm strength was everywhere, everything you'd want. I mean, that guy next year is going to go to Denver or Houston or wherever the hell he goes, and he'll be one of like the 7 best quarterbacks in the league.
Do you think he should go? Do you think he should retire or go?
No, I think he should go to a team that's relatively close.
You think he should?
I think he would have helped Denver.
Denver or Houston. I think those are the 2.
Denver, Houston. There was one more.
I thought maybe Arizona, but that offensive line's not great. Not
Buffalo?
Great for him.
He wouldn't want to.
You want to be able to win a division in 1 year.
What about the Chargers if Phil Rivers retires?
Interesting.
I feel like Phil Rivers could retire.
Is he going to retire?
If they move to LA? He's got 8 kids.
That could be fun.
Imagine moving 8 kids.
Yeah. Well, that's why you don't.
Or try to live in San Diego and commute to LA every day, which he probably would do, or get a helicopter.
You have 8 kids. You never want to retire. If
I had 8 kids, I wouldn't even live in the country. I wouldn't even live with any of them. I'd be living 3,000 miles away.
You can't even skip a soccer game. What are you kidding?
I know. Well, I only have 2 kids. So our Don Julio shot of the week. We like the Falcons plus 340 to win the NFC as the best odds. Don Julio, the world's original handcrafted tequila with multiple unique tequilas, including Don Julio 1942, the best luxury tequila you'll ever drink. And Diageo's Dan Sanborn loves the shot of the week.
He's the best.
He really enjoys it.
I'll tell you what's not the best. Cousin Sal shirt thing. Winless last 2 weeks, but I'm going to get it back. You heard the confidence in my voice this last hour. I'm going to get it with these games. We're going to do it.
Have you gotten any death threats or anything?
Lots of them. I can't even look. Thank God these are free. Thank God these are free. Yeah.
I think I need to do what Apollo Creed and Duke did for Rocky. I need to bring you back to one of the downtown LA gyms.
Oh, interesting.
Get your roots back.
Right.
Why don't you look around and be like, you see the hunger? You see the hunger in those eyes, Rock? You haven't had that for some time.
I like that. Yeah. If my wife gave a shit about anything I did, she'd take me to the beach and scream at me like Adrian. But
she did.
No, she
Adrian,
that
was Adrian's only great moment.
It was really good.
She was, for the most part, really a wet blanket and a horrible wife.
Yeah.
And not supportive at all. But in Rocky 3, she was supportive for about an hour.
Why, you're human, aren't you?
What do we need? We got money. We got cars. What are you afraid of? Oh, man.
I'm afraid too.
All right.
Jimmy Kimmel Live Bachelor Special tonight. Check it out. Joel McHale is a guest. And Nick Vial. What's his name?
Nick Vial.
Vial, right?
Yeah.
The Bachelor himself. At the Cousin Sal on Twitter. All that good stuff.
And on Channel 33, Julia Littman is bringing back Bachelor Party, her podcast for the Bachelor season. Fun. And there's going to be some great guests, including my wife.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of rumors about a Dave Jacoby comeback for one podcast, which has everyone in a tizzy. I might go on there once, but yeah, Bachelor Party, definitely check that out. Check out theringer.com. Don't forget about the Channel 33 podcast, the Sports Movie Hall of Fame podcast, which has been really fun to do so far. And also, I have a new column coming up at some point this week. Thanks to SeatGeek. Thanks to everybody. And we'll be back on the BS podcast later this week.
Good job by you.
Good job by you.